Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda, entitled Perseverance. Loyalty, my great spiritual teacher used to say, is the first law of God. Most people are fickle. They change their jobs, their spouses, their friends, their beliefs, their ideas, not because of any new expansion of awareness, but because they lack the simple power of perseverance. One must be loyal to one's principles and not allow oneself to be ruled by sentiment. To be loyal to others and to one's assumed goals in life, not for sentimental reasons, but in the name of principle, is the way of divine progress. Perseverance can be difficult, for in every undertaking there is a certain amount of dull routine. Don't be ruled, therefore, by likes and dislikes, but do whatever has to be done. If it is right, let nothing intervene until the job is finished. And let's affirm together. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. A little quieter. I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And now whispering, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And silently, I will finish what I set my mind to do before leaving it for something else. My word is my bond. So also is my resolution. And please pray silently with me. Though the sirens of distraction call me to turn aside and relax the sternness of my dedication, keep me steadfast on my path, Lord. My goal in life is Thee. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Master's Mahasamadhi Satsang this morning. First of all, I'd like to thank those of you who made the altar so beautiful this morning for Master and Sri Yukteswar and the Gurus. It's a blessing to see every single Sunday people coming early, disciples coming early to put flowers on the altar. It's such a simple act of service, but there's so much love, and the end result is always a treat for us who get to sit here and look at this beautiful altar. So thank you to those of you who serve in this way. I also wanted to mention that it's been a very powerful spiritual week. Shivaratri was on Tuesday. Many people stayed up all night here at the center and meditated, or just came by for an hour or two or three. It was very powerful. We did a mantra for 108 times, and there was just a lot of joy in the air. It was very wonderful to be in Bangalore with our disciples and Guru Bhais, sharing in that way for Shivaratri. Yesterday was Sri Yukteswar's Mahasamadhi. That's another great day of spiritual blessings for all of us disciples and spiritual seekers on this path. It's today, then Thursday was Master's Mahasamadhi. So today is a conglomeration of all of these blessings showering down upon all of us here in Bangalore, at Ananda, and on this world. Because there are many blessings showering down upon us at all times, even though we're not aware of them. They're here. We need to open our hearts and receive the blessings that are always just right there if we can just feel them in deep meditation. So be assured that God is with us and the Masters are with us, especially during these auspicious times. I wanted to read from the New Path, This is a book that Swamiji wrote, My Life with Paramahansa Yogananda. It has over 800 stories of Paramahansa Yogananda. This is just a short reading from his last days, Master's last days on this earth. Swamiji was with him during those last days. And so he wrote as detailed as he could with much emotion about what it was like to be with the great Master, his guru, on the very last day of his life here on earth. Thursday evening, March 6th, Master returned from a ride in a car. He had asked Clifford Frederick, who was driving, to take him into Rome Drive behind Mount Washington. There, gazing at the main building, he remarked quietly, "It looks like a castle, doesn't it?" The monks had just finished their group practice of the energization exercises when Master's car entered the driveway. As we gathered around him, he touched each of us in blessing and then spoke at length about some of the delusions devotees encounter on the path. "Don't waste your time," he said. "No one can give you the desire for God. That is something you must cultivate yourselves. Don't sleep a great deal. Sleep is the unconscious way of contacting God. Meditation is a state beyond sleep, superconsciousness as opposed to subconsciousness. Don't spend too much time joking. I myself like to laugh, but I keep my sense of humor fully under control. When I am serious, nobody can tempt me to laugh. Be happy within, grave but ever cheerful. Why waste your spiritual perceptions in useless words? When you have filled the bucket of your consciousness with the milk of peace, keep it that way. Don't drive holes in it by joking and idle speech. Don't waste time on distractions, reading all the time and so on. If reading is instructive, of course it is good, but I tell people, if you read 1 hour, then write 2 hours, think 3 hours, and meditate all the time. No matter how much this organization keeps me busy, I never forego my daily tryst with God." In the basement, minutes later, Master saw a box of green coconuts that had just arrived from George's brother in Florida. Back at the car, Divine Mother was trying to tell me those coconuts had come, but I didn't listen. I was talking too much. Master, laughing genially, opened a coconut and drank from it. But his enjoyment seemed to me somehow tinged with unreality. I looked into his eyes and saw them deep, still, completely untouched by what he was doing. In retrospect, it seems like the hardiness of one who knew he was bidding us goodbye, but didn't want us to know that he was doing so. Catching my glance, he became all at once almost grave. "I have a big day tomorrow," he said. Walking toward the elevator, he paused at the door, then repeated, "I have a big day tomorrow. Wish me luck." The following day, March 7th, he came downstairs to go out. He was scheduled to attend a banquet that evening at the Biltmore Hotel in honor of the Indian ambassador. "Imagine," he said, "I've taken a room at the Biltmore. That's where I first started in this city." Then he repeated, "Wish me luck." Years ago, Master had said, "When I leave this earth, I want to go speaking of my America and my India." And in a song about India that he had written to the tune of the popular song My California, he paraphrased the original ending with the words, "I know when I die, in joy I will sigh for my sunny, grand old India." Once, too, in a lecture, he had stated, "A heart attack is the easiest way to die. That is how I choose to die." This evening, all these predictions were to come true. Master was scheduled to speak after the banquet. His brief talk was so sweet, so almost tender, that I think everyone present felt embraced in the gossamer net of his love. Warmly he spoke of India and America and of their respective contributions to the world peace and true human progress. He talked of their future cooperation. Finally, he read his beautiful poem, My India. Throughout his speech, I was busy recording his words, keeping my eyes on my notebook. He came to the last lines of the poem, where Ganges, woods, Himalayan caves, and men dream God, I am hallowed. My body touched that sod. Sod became a long, drawn-out sigh. Suddenly, from all sides of the room, there came a loud cry. I looked up. What is it? I demanded of Dick Hames, seated beside me. What happened? Master fainted, he replied. Oh, no, Master, you wouldn't faint. You've left us. You've left us. The forgotten playwright in me cried silently. This is too perfect a way for you to go, for it to mean anything else. I hastened to where Master lay. A look of bliss was on his face. Virginia Wright was stooped over him, trying desperately to revive him. The Consul General of India came over to me and put an arm around my shoulders to comfort me. Never, dear friend, will I forget that sweet act of kindness. They brought Master's body to Mount Washington and placed it lovingly on his bed. One by one we went in, weeping, and knelt by his bedside. Mother, cried Joseph, oh, Mother. Indeed, Master had been a mother to us all. Ah, and how much more than a mother. Miss Lancaster gave me an anguished look. How many thousands of years it took, marveled Laurie Pratt, gazing upon him in a quiet awe, to produce such a perfect face. Later on, after we'd left the room, Fay remained alone with Master's body. As she gazed at him, a tear formed on his left eyelid and slowly trickled down his cheek. Lovingly, she caught it with her handkerchief. She would always preserve it. In death as in life, he was telling his beloved disciples, and through her, the rest of us, I love you always, through endless cycles of time, unconditionally, without any desire, except for your happiness forever in God. And so Master's body is in Los Angeles at Forest Lawn, and his soul has left his body, but he has not left us. Master is with us. He's in our hearts. He's always with us. He's never, ever a moment gone from us. And he has told us over and over again through all of his writings and all of his music and all of his poems, all of his words, only love can take my place. And that doesn't mean just a platitude that we should love others because we want to be loved. It's an actual fact of reality that love, who was Master was pure love, is in each one of us. And each one of us is pure love. And Master's incarnation came to show us that we too are that. There is no separation. There's never a separation. I wanted to just share a story for the kids too, but it's a story that's it's really hard for me to get through without tearing up, but I'm going to try. But it's the story of a disciple, and Swami used to tell us this story a lot, and it means a great deal, especially on this day and this season of Mahasamadhis, where the masters seem like they're gone. And we're here just fighting it out by ourselves, trying to stay in tune, watching our thoughts, working on our sadhana, trying to be good disciples. But it seems sometimes like we're alone. But there was a story of a disciple. He was a young man, maybe like as young as Shibo. Just a young man, a young disciple. And he yearned for God more than anything. He loved God. And so he wanted to join the ashram. He wanted to come to the ashram. He was from India. And he met his guru at the ashram, and his ashram was in the forest. And his guru was so thrilled to have him come. He was just very warm to him and very loving, and lots of disciples came at that time. The guru was very powerful. And so the guru, the disciple said, I want to be here with you always. I just always want to be here in this ashram with you. I never want to leave you. And the guru said, that's fine. I would love for you to be here. I'll give you a job. And if you would just do this job, then that will be your contribution to being able to stay in the ashram. And the disciple was so happy. And so the guru gave him the job of carrying the wood. Just carrying the wood for the ashram, keeping the kitchen fires burning, and keeping the warm fire in the temple. That was his job. So every single day, the disciple would go out into the woods, and he would gather wood. And he would be so joyful and happy and humbly just thanking God for this blessing of being able to serve his guru. So every day he went out and got the wood. And every day he was happy. Day after day, month after month, year after year. He kept getting the wood. And that was his job. And he did it with great devotion and love in his heart. And he felt a lot of bliss a lot of the time. He was just humbly serving. But maybe about many years later, after every single day being the one to get the wood for the ashram, he started noticing that the other disciples that came and that were coming and that had come when he had come were sitting around the guru's feet, were getting diksha, were getting the higher initiations, were getting a lot of energy from the guru. But the guru never talked to him. He just asked him how the wood was doing, if the wood was in the kitchen. And so he noted that, but because his guru had asked him to do this, he kept doing it with great joy. And every single day and every month and every year, on and on and on, until many, many years passed. And he would always notice all those other people were always around the guru, and they were always getting blessings, and they seemed to be at the kirtans and meditating all the time, but he was out in the woods, all alone. And so one day, many, many, many years later, he was still carrying the wood, but he had gotten this great big armful of wood, and he was walking, but he picked up the wood, and in the wood, his beard caught some hair, a tuft of hair in the wood. And he looked at the tuft of hair and he thought, oh my goodness, it's white, like Haridas's beard. It's white. How old am I? How many years have passed? How long have I been doing this? And he started having these thoughts, I've wasted my life. Everybody else was doing something important. The guru's forgotten me. I've just been doing this job forever. And now I'm old, and I've wasted my life. And I think that he's abandoned me. And I think that God has abandoned me. And I'm all alone, and all I ever did was carry wood. Oh, how stupid of me. I should have been in the temple. I should have been with the guru. So he started to cry. And as the tears started coming out of his eyes, all of a sudden, whoosh, there was the guru standing right by him, cupping his hands under his face, catching his tears. And he said, don't you know that a disciple of your caliber and your elevation, if these tears fell to the ground, there would be famine for 7 years. There would be nothing to be growing, no trees, no flowers, no vegetables, no grass. Nothing would grow if those tears touched the ground. And then he said, you have served me with perseverance and dedication and one-pointedness your whole life, with joy in your heart. And now, because of your humble dedication and devotion, you are free. And he touched him on the spiritual eye, and he went into ecstasy. And so for all of us, that's the dedication, the perseverance, the humility, the acceptance that we have to have when the guru asks us to do something. He's there. That guru gave this job, this act of service to this disciple because he knew exactly what he needed to be free. And the guru accepted it. The disciple accepted it. the guru said, okay, didn't question, didn't analyze, didn't go to another guru, didn't read books, didn't say, is this really working? No, he just said, I said yes, and I will proceed with my service to my guru because I love my guru and I love God. And that's what we have to have in our lives, that single-pointed dedication to the guru's wishes in our life, that devotion, that thought that nothing can take us away. Because all the time, Master's watching over us, the guru's watching over us. He's watching us carrying this wood. He's watching us in our homes. He's watching us raise our kids. He's watching us go to work. He's watching us serve. He's watching us go through our hard times. He's watching us when we're sad. He's watching us when we're happy. He knows. So when you take that vow of discipleship and you say, I will, when you take that vow at Kriya Yoga and you say, I will, and you do the few things he's asked us to do, meditate and serve, 2 things. But do them with joy and do them with the idea that nothing in this world will ever dissuade you to leave the path, to leave the guru, because he will never leave you. That's all there is to it. He's watching us all the time. Only love can take my place. That love is in our hearts. The more we love, the more love will we receive from the guru. And he's always guiding us, always there, every moment. Never, ever, ever get discouraged. And if you do, pray to the guru. He'll be there. He'll catch your tears. He'll catch your tears before they fall to the earth. So I wanted to just close with this poem from Master. And this is a poem that I always like to read on his Mahasamadhi because it's so beautiful. He wrote this. This was the very first book of poems that Master wrote. I think he wrote it in New York, Songs of the Soul, many, many years ago. And this poem is called When I'm Only a Dream. I came to tell you all of him and the way to encase him in your bosom and of the discipline that brings his grace. Those of you who have asked me to guide you to my beloved's presence, I warn you through my silently talking mind, or speak to you through a gentle, significant glance, or whisper to you through my love, or loudly dissuade you when you stray away from him. But when I shall become only a memory, or a mental image, or silently speaking voice, when no earthly call will ever reveal my whereabouts in unplumbed space, when no shallow entreaty or stern centaurian command will bring from me an answer, I will smile in your mind when you are right, and when you are wrong, I will weep through my eyes, dimly peering at you in the dark, and weep through your eyes, perchance. And I will whisper to you through your conscience, and I will reason with you through your reason, and I will love all through your love. When you are able no longer to talk with me, read my whispers from eternity. Eternally through it, I will talk to you. Unknown, I will walk by your side and guard you with invisible arms. And as soon as you know my beloved and hear his voice in silence, you will know me again more tangibly than you knew me on this earth plane. And yet, when I'm only a dream to you, I will come to remind you that you too are not but a dream of my heavenly beloved. And when you know you are a dream, as I know now, we will be ever awake in him. So God bless you all in this sacred day. And may you feel his presence every moment of your life.